enjoy the refreshments, music. Why do we have music and dance one after the like way away? I would say please
Yeah.
enjoy the refreshments, professional headshots,
Yeah.
music, and a special dance performance by Shravya Masa Dance Company, and a special photo
Oh,
opportunity with
when
our
you say
famous.
special and special, that's like too
Too
much
much,
special.
too
Yeah.
much special. Let's remove the special from the photo opportunity.
Yeah, yeah.
I will do
Photo opportunities with our famous Astro mascot.
correct. Happening upstairs and
Upstairs
downstairs.
and downstairs.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. So people know.
yeah.
I wonder if we need to say something about the flip. Because this room, like, we're pushing everyone out of the room,
Oh yeah, we're getting
but
them
we
back.
need to tell them that they're going to come back in about 30 minutes. So it's like, I don't want people to, like, go out and say, oh, this is it. Like, this
Correct.
is all we have.
And they go out at 5.
They leave at 5, and then they'll come back in about 5:30, in about 30 minutes. Hopefully, as long as it's all comes up. I
Oh,
wonder if we
so
need to
maybe
say
we can
something
we
like,
can say, and the fun continues. Please make your way to our networking reception in the foyer, happening now until 7 p.m. Um, and you're saying the reception's happening here or the dinner's happening here?
the food, there's some food outside, but there will be more food in here once we open the doors back up
At 5:30.
at 5:30ish. I
Okay.
think
And
what
the
we
I'd been with Salesforce for 12 years now. It has given me wonderful opportunities to be myself. If I could describe Salesforce in one word, it would be home.
It's absolutely buzzing because there are so many new things that people are experiencing, so many new ideas that they are coming across.
First thing that you'll notice is an atmosphere where everybody is driven by innovation.
People really thrive in our high-performing culture, especially engineers. Our engineers deal with the whole tech stack, so you get to sort of develop your expertise in all parts of software, which I think is wonderful for engineers.
It's so exciting to be part of this AI revolution because any new thing that comes, Salesforce is already there doing it.
Salesforce is at the forefront of revolutionizing the way our customers interact with their customers by building in a lot of artificial intelligence.
It's helping our customers reach new heights.
One thing I love about Salesforce, hugely passionate about customer success. We make sure that whatever features or functionality we build is solving genuine customer problems.
Just as we are creating new things, we are also thinking about how we can serve the community.
One of the core values that Salesforce has is equality. When I see there is so much focus to make the workplace very inclusive, that gives me immense pride.
Salesforce lives by its own values, and one is being extremely empathetic to not only the customers but to the employees as well.
They always say families are always first. That is very important.
We give some of the best benefits in the industry.
The benefit that I loved was parental leave. I loved how Salesforce gave me that freedom to be able to satisfy that part of my life.
One of the reasons why I think people should be excited about coming on board with us is because we are a growing company. As the company grows, your career, your dreams, your potentials will also get realized.
Calling all trailblazers, innovators, customer success makers, lifelong learners, and roll up your sleevers. Those who see what we see, that in a sea of technology, a distinctly new wave of innovation is rising. We are Salesforce, the #1 AI CRM. And like you, we're not only looking to the future, we're busy building it. Not just the future of business or AI, but her future and his and theirs and thousands of other purpose-driven high performers who have found their place to grow like never before, to connect, collaborate, and celebrate, to move forward as one while giving back as many. And now, as we blaze our trail into an AI-first future that's as trusted as it is transformative, where anyone can be an Einstein, we're bringing together the trailblazers who can help us get there, who demand a place built on values, who know that business is the greatest platform for change. Those of you ready to help build what's next and to drive customer success, come forward. Trailblazers, what we do next matters. Because what we do next will change the world.
I'd been with Salesforce for 12 years now. It has given me wonderful opportunities to be myself. If I could describe Salesforce in one word, it would be home.
It's absolutely buzzing because there are so many new things that people are experiencing, so many new ideas that they are coming across.
First thing that you'll notice is an atmosphere where everybody is driven by innovation.
People really thrive in our high-performing culture, especially engineers. Our engineers deal with the whole tech stack. So you get to sort of develop your expertise in all parts of software, which I think is wonderful for engineers.
It's so exciting to be part of this AI revolution because any new thing that comes, Salesforce is already there doing it.
Salesforce is at the forefront of revolutionizing the way our customers interact with their customers by building in a lot of artificial intelligence.
It's helping our customers reach new heights.
One thing I love about Salesforce, hugely passionate about customer success. We make sure that whatever features or functionality we build is solving genuine customer problems.
Just as we are creating new things, we are also thinking about how we can serve the community.
One of the core values that Salesforce has is equality. When I see there is so much focus to make the workplace very inclusive, that gives me immense pride.
Salesforce lives by its own values, and one is being extremely empathetic to not only the customers but to the employees as well.
They always say families are always first. That is very important.
We give some of the best benefits in the industry.
The benefit that I loved was parental leave. I loved how Salesforce gave me that freedom to be able to satisfy that part of my life.
One of the reasons why I think people should be excited about coming on board with us is because we are a growing company. As the company grows, your career, your dreams, your potentials will also get realized.
Calling all trailblazers, innovators, customer success makers, lifelong learners, and roll up your sleevers. Those who see what we see. That in a sea of technology, a distinctly new wave of innovation is rising. We are Salesforce, the #1 AI CRM. And like you, we're not only looking to the future, we're busy building it. Not just the future of business or AI, but her future and his and theirs and thousands of other purpose-driven high performers who have found their place to grow like never before, to connect, collaborate, and celebrate, to move forward as one while giving back as many. And now, as we blaze our trail into an AI-first future that's as trusted as it is transformative, where anyone can be an Einstein, we're bringing together the trailblazers who can help us get there, who demand a place built on values, who know that business is the greatest platform for change. Those of you ready to help build what's next and to drive customer success, come forward. Trailblazers, what we do next matters. Because what we do next will change the world.
I'd been with Salesforce for 12 years now. It has given me wonderful opportunities to be myself. If I could describe Salesforce in one word, it would be home.
It's absolutely buzzing because there are so many new things that people are experiencing, so many new ideas that they are coming across.
First thing that you'll notice is an atmosphere where everybody is driven by innovation.
People really thrive in our high-performing culture, especially engineers. Our engineers deal with the whole tech stack, so you get to sort of develop your expertise in all parts of software, which I think is wonderful for engineers.
It's so exciting to be part of this AI revolution because any new thing that comes, Salesforce is already there doing it.
Salesforce is at the forefront of revolutionizing the way our customers interact with their customers by building in a lot of artificial intelligence.
It's helping our customers reach new heights.
One thing I love about Salesforce, hugely passionate about customer success. We make sure that whatever features or functionality we build is solving genuine customer problems.
Just as we are creating new things, we are also thinking about how we can serve the community.
One of the core values that Salesforce has is equality. When I see there is so much focus to make the workplace very inclusive, that gives me immense pride.
Salesforce lives by its own values, and one is being extremely empathetic to not only the customers but to the employees as well.
They always say families are always first. That is very important.
We give some of the best benefits in the industry.
The benefit that I loved was parental leave. I loved how Salesforce gave me that freedom to be able to satisfy that part of my life.
One of the reasons why I think people should be excited about coming on board with us is because we are a growing company. As the company grows, your career, your dreams, your potentials will also get realized.
The opening session will begin in 5 minutes. Request you all to take your seat in the grand ballroom.
I'd been with Salesforce for 12 years now. It has given me wonderful opportunities to be myself. If I could describe Salesforce in one word, it would be home.
It's absolutely buzzing because there are so many new things that people are experiencing, so many new ideas that they are coming across.
First thing that you'll notice is an atmosphere where everybody is driven by innovation.
People really thrive in our high-performing culture, especially engineers. Our engineers deal with the whole tech stack, so you get to sort of develop your expertise in all parts of software, which I think is wonderful for engineers.
It's so exciting to be part of this AI revolution because any new thing that comes, Salesforce is already there doing it.
Salesforce is at the forefront of revolutionizing the way our customers interact with their customers by building in a lot of artificial intelligence.
It's helping our customers reach new heights.
One thing I love about Salesforce, hugely passionate about customer success. We make sure that whatever features or functionality we build is solving genuine customer problems.
Just as we are creating new things, we are also thinking about how we can serve the community.
One of the core values that Salesforce has is equality. When I see there is so much focus to make the workplace very inclusive, that gives me immense pride.
Salesforce lives by its own values, and one is being extremely empathetic to not only the customers but to the employees as well.
They always say families are always first. That is very important.
We give some of the best benefits in the industry.
The benefit that I loved was parental leave. I loved how Salesforce gave me that freedom to be able to satisfy that part of my life.
One of the reasons why I think people should be excited about coming on board with us is because we are a growing company. As the company grows, your career, your dreams, your potentials will also get realized.
I'd been with Salesforce for 12 years now. It has given me wonderful opportunities to be myself. If I could describe Salesforce in one word, it would be home.
It's absolutely buzzing because there are so many new things that people are experiencing, so many new ideas that they are coming across.
First thing that you'll notice is an atmosphere where everybody is driven by innovation.
People really thrive in our high-performing culture, especially engineers. Our engineers deal with the whole tech stack, so you get to sort of develop your expertise in all parts of software, which I think is wonderful for engineers.
It's so exciting to be part of this AI revolution because any new thing that comes, Salesforce is already there doing it.
Salesforce is at the forefront of revolutionizing the way our customers interact with their customers by building in a lot of artificial intelligence.
It's helping our customers reach new heights.
One thing I love about Salesforce, hugely passionate about customer success. We make sure that whatever features or functionality we build is solving genuine customer problems.
Just as we are creating new things, we are also thinking about how we can serve the community.
One of the core values that Salesforce has is equality. When I see there is so much focus to make the workplace very inclusive, that gives me immense pride.
Salesforce lives by its own values, and one is being extremely empathetic to not only the customers but to the employees as well.
They always say families are always first. That is very important.
We give some of the best benefits in the industry.
The benefit that I loved was parental leave. I loved how Salesforce gave me that freedom to be able to satisfy that part of my life.
One of the reasons why I think people should be excited about coming on board with us is because we are a growing company. As the company grows, your career, your dreams, your potentials will also get realized.
Please take your seats. We're about to begin shortly.
I'd been with Salesforce for 12 years now. It has given me wonderful opportunities to be myself. If I could describe Salesforce in one word, it would be home.
It's absolutely buzzing because there are so many new things that people are experiencing, so many new ideas that they are coming across.
First thing that you'll notice is an atmosphere where everybody is driven by innovation.
People really thrive in our high-performing culture, especially engineers. Our engineers deal with the whole tech stack. So you get to sort of develop your expertise in all parts of software, which I think is wonderful for engineers.
It's so exciting to be part of this AI revolution because any new thing that comes, Salesforce is already there doing it.
Salesforce is at the forefront of revolutionizing the way our customers interact with their customers by building in a lot of artificial intelligence.
It's helping our customers reach new heights.
One thing I love about Salesforce, hugely passionate about customer success. We make sure that whatever features or functionality we build is solving genuine customer problems.
Just as we are creating new things, we are also thinking about how we can serve the community.
One of the core values that Salesforce has is equality. When I see there is so much focus to make the workplace very inclusive, that gives me immense pride.
Salesforce lives by its own values, and one is being extremely empathetic to not only the customers, but to the employees as well.
They always say families are always first. That is very important.
We give some of the best benefits in the industry.
The benefit that I loved was parental leave. I loved how Salesforce gave me that freedom to be able to satisfy that part of my life.
One of the reasons why I think people should be excited about coming on board with us is because we are a growing company. As the company grows, your career, your dreams, your potentials will also get realized.
The opening session will begin in 2 minutes. Request you all to take your seats. Hello and welcome to our incredible Trailblazing Women's Summit in India. Guess what? It is our first time in Bengaluru and I'm really excited to welcome you all. Thank you for all of the folks who are here in person and people who are watching virtually from all over the globe. To kick off our event today, I would like to introduce Salesforce's President and COO for South Asia, Arundhati Bhattacharya.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm delighted to join you virtually for this very special edition of Trailblazing Women's Summit 2025. A warm welcome to all of you, those in the room, our watch parties in Hyderabad and Bangalore, and a global audience joining us via live stream. Our theme this year, Become an Agent of Change, is very close to my heart. Change doesn't simply arrive. It's driven by people who are willing to challenge the status quo, take bold steps, and bring others along. That's what today is about, celebrating those agents of change across industries and inspiring each of us to embrace that role in our own journeys. A special thank you to our customers who are with us. Your partnership and your trust are what keep us striving for more. And to our Salesforce executives, employees, and so much talent in the room, you make this summit truly vibrant. As you engage in today's conversations, I encourage you to carry the inspiration forward. Go back with ideas, with confidence, and with the belief that you too can spark change in your workplace, in your communities, and in your careers. Thank you, and I wish you an energizing and impactful summit.
Thank you, Arundhati. We are incredibly lucky to have you at the helm of Salesforce India. Our first session today, Become an Agent of Change, includes an incredible lineup of female executives across some of the India's fastest growing industries. Please join me in welcoming to the stage our moderator, Molly Q. Ford, VP of Culture and Engagement at Salesforce, and our panelists, Bhargavi Sridharan, Head of Aditya Birla Capital, Digital Limited and ABC One, Saujanya Alluri, Chief Digital Officer of TVS Credit, and Relina Bulchandani, EVP Real Estate Workplace Services, Salesforce.
Come on, Trailblazing
Handing
women.
it over to Molly Ford.
You can do better than that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us for our 7th annual Gender Equality Summit, Trailblazing Women. It is an honor and privilege to be with you. We have a theme today of becoming agents of change. When we think about that, Madam Arundhati said, challenge the status quo, experiment, and be curious. So I have an amazing panel that I can't wait to get started with. So when we think about AI, this is one of the biggest transformational shifts in our lifetime, right? One of the fastest adopted technology. So when you think about that, what does that require as us as leaders, right? What does that require? I'm going to start right here with you, Bhargavi. If you could tell us just a little bit about your career and what makes you want to be passionate about change and how you're adopting AI.
I think we are at the cusp of something similar to how broad-based the internet was. So I think, there's this whole AI is coming, it's coming for you. But the point is it's going to be the air and the water in which we're swimming. Mm-hmm. So, and I've always enjoyed knowing just a little bit more than the person next to me. So, no, not you, Molly. But yes, so I think given it ties in naturally with the space that I work in, and I strongly believe that like the internet, AI is going to be a colleague, a counterpart, and empower everything we do. I'm just it's already seeped into everything. I'm wondering if I have to go back 6 months and undo that. I can't do that right now. So we've already adopted it. We are already in it fully. It helps me shop as well.
Yep.
So yeah.
Absolutely. And tell us.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think AI, if you see the technological shifts, right, from the mainframes in 90s, then the era of internet where e-commerce started. I think next is the mobile evolution, right? I think this is the time of AI evolution. It impacts every citizen and it impacts every organization. And in our company, we are doing a lot of transformations. Especially in the AI, we started with our own employees, like employee surveys, HR policies, so many automations where people has to search, where HR can offload many things to the AI. And we have done for customers, at least basic level of L0, L1 communications to the customers, like where is my EMI, what is my EMI, why my EMI is not deposited, the kind of things which we are doing with agentic AI. And we wanted to use for the core underwriting lending also. I think we started it as Gartner surveys and other surveys says that almost 30% of the organizations are started in the agentic AI. Compared to 23, 24, it is 2%. Now it is 25% of organizations are shaping up. That's the power of AI. Everybody has to adopt, everybody has to change, everybody has to disrupt. That's it from my side.
Everybody has to skill up, everyone has to change. Good point. Thank you. And Relina?
Yes, so first I want to start with good afternoon, everyone. This is an amazing space to see completely full. So I first want to start with just welcoming everyone. And the panelists kind of covered the different shifts we've been through. I've spent my career on the convergence of technology and real estate, and I have never been more excited because I really believe we're at an inflection point. And it's not just about productivity at work. It's going to be full work-life integration. I really believe we are going to have productivity agents in our personal life and professional life, and it's going to be game-changing. So I think we're spot on that it's not something that's coming. It's completely ubiquitous to us, and it's an incredible journey right now. I think we're seeing it in the corporate world. We're seeing all the innovation coming out of India as well. So it's a very exciting time, and the industry I focus on, which is corporate real estate, is so ripe for this. Because I think what we're going to see is some of the low-hanging fruit is going to be completely taken over by AI. And then the creativity, the human problem solving, the future of work, that's the really exciting part. And I see like humans and agents, robots, all integrating together. Very exciting time for us.
Yeah, I love the point you brought about because it's so often we can be afraid of AI and what's coming, but I look forward to the mundane things coming off my plate, right? So how do we then demystify AI or take away some of that fear? Can you have an opinion about how we can do that?
Yeah, so firstly, I think there are a couple of things, right? Our CEO, Mark Benioff, he talks a lot about this beginner's mind, right? So I think this is each and every one of us in our lives have to really approach this with the beginner's mind. Secondly, it's not just thinking about your work and your career, but one of the things that we do is every meeting that I have with my leadership team, I ask them personally, professionally, anything. Please tell me how you're using AI. Are you doing it with your kids' homework? People are doing stories. You know, they're putting a few words into ChatGPT. So I think it's really making it accessible, which I think is super exciting what we're doing together, Molly. We don't leave anyone behind. You bring people along on this journey, and I think it's really going to be an equalizer. I think a lot about AI from an equality perspective. I think it is going to be the great equalizer as long as we don't leave anyone behind on the journey.
Absolutely. And so, Jinya, how are you doing that to demystify?
Correct. I mean, definitely, you see, change has to start from us first. What I do is, every email I write in the Copilot, I put Alt-I. That improves my productivity. I don't need to type fully. It writes a beautiful English, highly empathetic English, right, which I cannot write it.
We're all masters of English now because of our use of agents, yes.
Yeah, that is first thing I do it. And we are using AI for the software development because I'm CTO, CDO. I have 1,000 developers are there. And we are looking at least 5 to 10% productivity improvement in the at least test case automations and security tools automation, something of that sort. And in the business, right, as I already told, in the business, a lot of HR activities, recruitment, policies, those things which we are extensively working on it. And because we don't want to experiment in the core areas like lending, like underwriting, which is a very important area where it cannot misfire. That's why we're building capabilities first in the organization step by step. Because AI just doesn't come, you need to have a solid cloud foundation, solid data foundation. Because of all the LLMs and SLMs, right, it needs right data to feed, right? That's why we are building the capabilities so that we can explore in the core areas. Right now, marketing people are using, previously they used to, advertisement video takes 3 days. Now they are creating in 10 minutes.
Wow.
That is the productivity we see in content creation. Maybe a lot more, maybe I'll hold for some time. Okay.
Yes, I love the productivity gains.
Yeah.
And tell us as well. So Bhargavi, I'm going to change positions with you. When we talk about pivoting careers and decisions, tell us about the decision to become an entrepreneur in your career and what changes you've made.
Thanks, Molly. So I think I acquired a CFA charter, and that's when I have always been a finance person in the first half of my career. And when I saw how much personal finance was out there, and which as a corporate finance professional, M&A, treasury, I had never encountered those concepts as to how to manage my own money. It was very incidental, it was half a chapter, one chapter. My entire education had focused on helping the companies I work with manage their money, treasury, borrowings, fundraising better. And so I thought we could take personal finance to the rest of India, because when you have money at your disposal, and I'm not saying you need to be very wealthy or a billionaire, it gives you a lot of choices. Absolutely. It empowers you. You don't have to do anything out of compulsion. So that's when I began the journey of personal finance. And today, while at FinMitra, I learned a lot. Today, it is at Aditya Birla Capital Digital, with the advent of AI, that I'm actually able to see that dream become a reality, because everyone can get. So I know the basics of finance, but I'm suddenly able to translate what I know as expertise into your information, which has come in, right, on ABCD or on any other consent-led architecture platform, and then convert what I know to speak with you and perhaps give you suggestions on what you could do better, which otherwise is a very broken and fraught process. So yes, I think today is, or today or right now as we speak, is a good time for that dream to actually come true.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So the theme for our event is becoming an agent of change. Tell us about a time in your career where you really had to either pivot or upskill or really try to change things for the better. Saujanya, I'm going to start with you.
Yeah. I think change is inevitable, right? Change has to happen every day, right? As a professional, right, at least at the end of the day, we have to reflect what we have to change for tomorrow. Right? And when you see the technologies, right, the shift of technologies is so fast-paced. I started with .NET, I moved to the Java, I moved to the big data, we moved to the Salesforce, now we are adopting Salesforce. And we have done, built the traditional models, machine learning models. I worked in NPCA payments, right? There I worked extensively on analytics. Now I am working on Salesforce heavily in this company, right? I think the learning, the change is everyday job. And I think I remember Satya Nadella was used to say that, right, growth mindset. You hire for the people learnability, not for what you know. You don't know at all. Every day we have to learn. And the change is inevitable. That we have to start from us. If we start from us, right, it automatically percolate to the down, and we have to make it organization for the change, and we have to tell them that upskilling, reskilling, changing every day is part of life.
Yes.
Otherwise, difficult to sustain. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that focus on upskilling, reskilling, and knowing this change is coming. How do you harness that?
Yeah.
So, Relina, when you think about real estate and workplace service, there's still a role for you in AI here, right? Because this transformation happens in very physical spaces. What role can AI play in fostering employee engagement?
So Molly, great question. I want to take us back a little bit. Remember 5 years ago, we were deep in a global pandemic. And I think that was the inflection point for facilities and workplaces, because ultimately that led to a pivot, which is really earning people's commute, earning the fact that people want to be in the office. They want to connect with each other. So I do think AI is going to be tremendous. It's the low-hanging fruit, all the facilities management, work orders can all be taken care of. Folks can really focus on innovation, productivity, connection, co-creation, collaboration. So from my perspective, we're working on agents. We're using the Salesforce tools kit. We're using Agentforce. And we're thinking of facilities agents, someone who can just deal with, my folks come in, they have work orders, they have lots of things to take care of. The agent can be like their co-pilot to help them through those activities. And then we start focusing on how do you have a compelling experience when you come in? Do you find the right people at the right place at the right time? Is this space making you create different work than you would be doing from home? So I really think it makes us really focus on a different area of productivity and innovation. It's a really exciting time in terms of real estate and AI.
Yeah. I want to ask you all a more personal question, because a lot of us are looking to this panel of C-suite leaders and saying, this is where I aspire to be one day. I want to be sitting in their shoes, sitting in these C-suite roles. When you think about your journey, what do you do to get through the difficult or challenging times? How have you really embraced the change? And then if there's a new challenge, how are you tackling that? I'm going to start with you, Sanjay.
Yeah. I think resilience, what I feel is, as leaders, right, there are tough times, right? The resilience is very important. You have a failures, but you have to bounce back fast. You can't sit with the failure, because there are a lot of transformations we do it. Even in fact, my Salesforce transformation has a lot of challenges. Yep. But how you navigate, how you resilient, and belief that I can make it work, hook or crook, I'm not leaving it. The success is always about not leaving. Giving up, if you don't give up, that itself is a success, right? I think then this new technologies, right, we have to learn, and we have to have some plan for it, right? This year I do this low-hanging fruits, and next year I do little more complex piece, little more core pieces. I think that planning and believing in plan and collaborating with, see, if I am doing transformation, right, see, my job is changing a lot of functions. Yep. Changing function of finance, changing function of operations, changing function of risk, changing function of all other, right, audit, everything. But that collaboration and have the patience to change them. First you have to listen them, and you have to win their hearts, then you have to slowly change them, right? That is very important piece, having that patience, having that cross collaboration, having the resilience. I think that is the only way you can change the organization.
Absolutely.
That's from my side, yeah.
I love that resilience. Bhargavi, same for you.
I think Saujanya said it right. The purpose of the enterprise, right, is actually the stakeholders. While we chase ROI, we chase our market capitalizations. I think fundamentally any enterprise that has longevity and legacy starts with its stakeholders and continues to serve them. So in this process, any change management as well, there is clearly an underlying reason and purpose that we aren't changing for the sake of. So carrying your stakeholders along in the process, I think, is something that invariably one needs to over-invest on and over-index on. And I also expect to fail. Pretty much, right? We all wake up and think that today is going to be a great day, but I pretty much in all my initiatives expect to fail. That's what I learned at FinMitra. Everything can go right and still you can fail. So what it helps is, A, it keeps humility, because you're going to fail. So it keeps humility, and B, you're always then paranoidly searching for what's going wrong to prevent that. So you keep there is no complacency.
Yes.
So you're always at it to make the next conversation work, to bring buy-in. If somebody is not buying in, then you're not angry. It was expected that. So I think if you carry stakeholders along and expect failure and then work to prevent it, all change and transformation helps. And it's wonderfully great to give the success to others. So the moment there is a small, let's say the first CRs or the first set of implementation happened for Salesforce, having a quick cake cutting suddenly makes people much more positive, as opposed to all the calls you may have heard earlier where you were telling them you're running late and why did we not anticipate this in the requirement, etc. So celebrating as small as they may be, celebrating those successes, handing the success back to folks, absorbing the flak for unanticipated misses, I think that helps create a positive mindset for people. And we keep our execution timeline very short. So no large digital transformation project that's epic. It all breaks into a very 90-day, 30-day sort of a setup, allowing us to know what granular milestone we are on.
Right.
I think those are what have helped us in our transformations.
Okay, thank you. And Relina, how have you navigated change or got through difficult times and built resilience?
All right, so a couple of things. Totally agree with both Bhargavi and Sujanya in terms of running towards change. So as a leader, I think it's you're always setting an example for your team. And Salesforce, we have a lot of pivots, as a lot of you know. And I think just really embracing the change, your team is watching you and seeing you kind of pivot and managing it, firstly. Secondly, I think the role of resilience, really great call out. And then third is rewarding failing fast. So I tell my team, let's launch, let's prototype, let's learn, let's iterate, and let's fail fast. I want a few failures, otherwise people are not trying new things. So I think that's important. Let's make the failures not on the biggest things, let's make them on things we can manage. And then personally, Molly, I spend a lot of time thinking about, as a leader, not only just showing up, but in my own life, how do you navigate no's? How do you navigate changes? And I love this one quote that really resonates with me. It's by a woman I really admire, Oprah Winfrey. And she says, don't take a no from someone who's not empowered to give you a yes. And I love that because we get so many no's in your life. This is not going to work. But I always say, let's try a different angle. Let's try a different person. And that is something that has really helped me. And I want to share the personal, because I think it's really important for you to understand yourself and understand how you're going to navigate, because as we've said, change is the only constant.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to make sure this audience feels like we're giving them advice on how to navigate their career, right? So if you all were hiring one of these people here, what are you looking for in talent? Like, what is one of the skill sets that you're like, yes, this person has it, I want to mentor them, or you're identifying something in them? Like for me, I always feel like people who understand and get a sense of urgency, right? Especially right now. We have this spur to action, AI, the business is moving and pivoting change. So I'm always looking for people who I think can navigate not only change, resilience, but urgency. What do you look for in a talent? Like if you were mentoring someone, what would you say? Like, yep, I saw that skill set and I want to grow that.
I'd look for learning agility and adaptability. I'd look for someone who has the capability to stand up and say, I don't know, but I'll learn. That's important. I give lots of marks because there's no overwhelming need to say no yes to everything, right? The ability to acknowledge what you don't know and learn it. And then a deep sense of ownership is what I'd look for, because if you're willing to learn, which means you already have humility, you're willing to work hard, and you're willing to combine that with a sense of ownership, which means you don't say, I sent an email and he has not responded. It's not that. You have then picked up the phone on the guy, then you made sure you went to the floor when he was on his coffee break, bumped into him accidentally, made sure the conversation happened, got your buy-in, spoke to his team. You've done everything peripheral that may not look like it's essential, but to make it happen. A sense of ownership and a sense of willingness to learn is what I'd look for.
I love that. That accountability, that you feel like you own something, you're being proactive, and that ability and willingness to learn. Because I think right now, this AI transformation is showing us that we all have something to learn and something to aspire to. Same question for you, Sujanya. How do you feel like that's a talent I recognize, or what you look for in an amazing talent?
Coaching, or what is that question?
Yes. So if I was saying, like when you're hiring or you're looking to promote someone, what is it you're looking for that you see, okay, that's a talent or that's a skill set?
Sure. Yeah, definitely as I already quoted, right, the Microsoft CEO told, right, you should hire for learnability and adaptability, and know it all is not the concept, right? Learning is the concept. Yeah, as Bhargavi told, that accountability and ownership. Second thing is, I give equal importance for IQ and EQ, right? It depends on the level which I'm hiring. And EQ is the importance. In the EQ, you cover many things actually. Their patience, their resilience, their honesty, their integrity. I think I watch so many of soft aspects, especially when I'm hiring leaders, and their collaborative skills. And selflessness also sometimes makes us the good leaders. I think apart from technology is 50% component, knowing wide varieties of technologies from low-code, no-code platforms, data, analytics, AI, all of them is one part. I think I give a lot of importance to the maturity on these things.
Yes.
Maybe we may not evaluate at the same time, but watch out for those, whether he has a patience, he has integrity, he has accountability, right? I think the conversation of an hour and a half, we should be able to figure it out. Yeah,
absolutely.
That's right.
And what I love is you called out skills as we think about humans plus agents, skills that we as humans can master, right? When it comes to empathy and leading with patience and how we lead people. Tell us, Relina, what are you looking for in amazing talent?
All right, so first I'm looking for curiosity. Like folks that really show up and are not just curious about the work, but they're curious about other people around them.
Curiosity.
I think that's incredibly important. I think empathy is a skill that's completely underrated in any corporate environments. I think empathy is really important. And I also look for career pivots, right? I think those days, and this is one person's opinion, of those linear career paths has changed. I think it's more jungle gym, people that try different things, and because I think you take all these experiences, right? And then Sujanya, you're spot on. The deep skills, that's table stakes, right? Knowing someone can actually do the job and you test for it. But I think it's these other things that really make a difference. And I do think the curiosity and creativity are going to be really important going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So this has been a really good, insightful conversation. So talk about what actionable steps people can take in their career to really be agents of change. So like what are one or two things that we want to tell this audience you should go do? Or here's some things you could do, especially to get started and go deep with AI. I'll start with you, Relina. What's kind of an actionable, and so take out your pen and pad, audience. This is where you're learning. We're at school now. So what are we learning? What's our actionable takeaway?
What's actionable? I think really connecting with other folks, finding community. You don't have to know everything, but finding folks that are interested in the same things that you're interested in around AI. So I think that's really important. And it's not networking for networking's sake, but I think having a network is incredibly important. I also think to be an agent of change, you have to be willing to put yourself out there. You have to be saying, I'm going to try this. I'm going to try it for size. I might like this job, I might not. And give yourself grace if you decide to pivot. So I think that real ability to pivot, find your network, find your tribe, find your community, I think is really important.
Yeah, I do think people underestimate their community. I think that's really important, and it makes you feel connected and grounded to work, right? And it may not have to be on your immediate team, but finding that community is really important. And what about you? What advice would you have?
Yeah, I think, thanks for the audience, and I think my first is, I think whatever the 9 to 6 or 9 to 10 job, at least you have to spend 1 hour at least for every day to learn. It could be agentic AI, it could be Harvard Business Education of leadership. That time you should spare it. However busy you are, that is the first mantra of the success if you wanted to reach. I mean, of course, madam is the greatest mentor, we are nothing. But what I feel, my experience is, you have to learn every day apart from your work. You have to make the time. I know being a woman, so busy, kids, job, but you still have to make out that one. Because you have to study every day. We are all-time students. maybe Saturday, Sunday, at least 2 hours, you have to make it. That is first thing. Second thing is, I feel the growing up the ladder needs a lot of courage. Don't self-limit, right? You have to believe in yourself, strongly believe in yourself, I can do it. That is second thing. And third thing is, maybe I feel personal values will take you up, your honesty, your integrity, your selflessness, your patience, your resilience, your collaborative skills. I think if you work on these skills, definitely you see the success is, I want every woman to come up to the curve, to fill the boardrooms, to fill the C-suites. Please, I got 10 years back when I was in middle management, my inspiration was Indra Nui. When I was working in GE, I had an opportunity to meet. Then I was like, manager, I'm happy, but when I saw her, I really inspired. Definitely that passion, the grow, I wanted to grow, dreams, that I think you keep it. That's what is from my side, yeah. Thank you.
And Bhargavi, what would you say?
I think I wholeheartedly echo what both Relina and Saujanya said. But to extend the answer, because you've already said all the, and they're all, I think, mother truths. I think one is to be hands-on on change. So it's one thing to instruct somebody else how to drive a car. It's one thing to drive one yourself. So like that in AI, right, building your own small little AI, I'm privileged that I can write my own approvals to get access to all the provisioning I need. So making sure that I can use that to write my own little engines and sort of, or do it with younger interns, etc., makes it real suddenly, as opposed to theoretically espousing that you should, one should do such and such thing. The second is, I think, if I talk from an organizational lens on how to succeed, and especially in AI, I'd say that all the hard work large corporates have done in terms of setting processes, foundations, data quality, data pipelines, documentation, all of that is going to help the big get bigger with AI, right? Because it's not just what goes in matters. And I have realized that as an org, we have some of it and we don't have some of it. But that doesn't mean AI is going to wait. Everybody wants results at analyst meetings to attend and tell them what we're doing on AI. But so I think the art is also being comfortable with the ambiguity of making promises, delivering backward, and also fixing stuff, right? You sellotape solutions, POCs can't scale, enterprise can't, but it can get you through the analyst meeting. So sort of having the knack and street smarts to navigate that balance, where you're doing your POCs to make it enterprise grade, you know that you need to fix 7 things on the side, and running both of those projects simultaneously and then sort of hoping to link them. Because the foundations always matter, right, in an org. While for an individual, the value system matters, for an org, the foundations we have laid matter. So just sort of then tying that startup agility to your enterprise grade infrastructure and processes, I think is what's essential for AI to succeed in an org.
So I just went to graduate school here. I went to Haas. I got all the education, MIT Sloan, from these industrious leaders. What I heard is be a lifelong learner, lead with curiosity, right? Yeah. Curiosity, resilience, lead with my values, right? Making sure my values are center. And that's how you become an agent of change, challenge that status quo. So Bhargavi, Saujanya, Relina, thank you so much for this insightful conversation. And thank you, Trailblazing Women. Thank you. All right, ladies.
Thank you, Molly, Bhargavi, Saujanya, and Relina for that incredible session. I know we are all inspired, empowered, and energized after this discussion. And like Molly said, a lot of pages have been filled with the great words and suggestions that were passed on. Now, let's carry that energy forward into our next panel, as there is much more in store. Please welcome our esteemed panelists, all of whom are leading the AI revolution in their respective industries. Let's welcome them. Carol Ferdato, Executive Director of Ujjivan Small Finance Bank. Sangeeta Giri Gundala, Chief Operating Officer, Salesforce India, Sales and Distribution. Parul Jain, VP, Engineering, Salesforce. Joining them today, we have our Salesforce moderator, Aditi Sharma, our VP of Sales. Handing it over to Aditi now.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here. My name is Aditi Sharma, and I'm the Regional Vice President for Retail and Consumer Goods Industries in India. And after this energizing panel, I'm very glad to be here with our esteemed panelists to present to you the next session, which is focused on how great leaders bring everyone along in this agentic era, where they not only inspire everyone to participate, but they also help them learn how to thrive in this era of AI. So let me just get started with a question that's common. I would love everyone, each one of you to answer that. And let's start with that big picture question, right? And Carol, maybe you can go first. The pace of AI development is so fast and so staggering. So how do leaders like you, how do you balance the demand to innovate constantly and still create a consistent and supporting environment for everyone in your teams to work? So maybe we'll start with you.
Thank you for the question. We believe that technology evolves fast, but it's very important that trust and adaptability is always there. When people trust you and trust the organization, they are willing to embrace AI and the transformation. So
it's amazing, Sangeeta.
So when we're sitting with innovation, right? First, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Aditi, and thank you, the team, for having us. We're talking about how do we have innovation and support of the system come together, right? So these are two topics which work together. They're not either or. Innovation and support go hand in hand. It is our role and responsibility to make sure that we are empowering our team with all the innovation, ensuring they have the right support to deliver what is needed. And this can happen if you teach them the how. How is the support infrastructure that we have put together for them actually out there to help them progress and grow? And this is really important. If they realize that the support system is there to help them innovate and help them get better at what they do, we realize that people start taking the trust. And what you rightly said about, Carol, about trust being so important, people start believing that this is not to make them redundant, but it is to make them get better by clubbing the two.
Yeah. We see this every day.
Every day.
Sales team members. So I'm a part of Sangeeta's larger organization. But yeah, trust and giving them a feeling of empowerment. Parul, you come from an engineering background, right? I'm sure you have a different perspective. What do you think? Similar thoughts?
Yeah, I'm into product development and I lead engineering teams, and we have to grapple with this almost every day, whether in the AI era or not in the AI era. So I think for us, keeping the lights on, making sure that we are always delivering value to the customers is very important, and that is baseline. But I think we have to create an environment for innovation, and AI tools these days themselves are helping us much more. So whatever we used to do, 1 year back, is ring fence the teams and make sure we divide the teams, and half of them are working on delivering features or doing the maintenance work, and some are working on really cutting edge things. Now we can do much more with less, thanks to all the AI tools at our disposal. So in this new era, I think we have a definitely positive advantage.
Thank you, Parul. And Sangeeta, I want to circle back with you. Most of us know your career trajectory. It's been such a long, illustrious career where you've always been at the intersection of technology, business operations, and being a salesperson yourself in your early years, right? I wanted to ask you, given the panel's focus is on bringing everyone along, how are you guiding your sales teams to not only embrace but also thrive in this agentic AI era, which is changing so rapidly?
So this is true. I've spent 30 years in the industry, very young. And I do believe, so we do, Salesforce works very hard to get the right talent in. I see my colleagues here, Simon, Karthik, Amrita, who work so hard to get us the right talent for the right roles. We do get the best people, and we believe we've hired the best people. Now, in an environment which is complex, which is tough, which is fast growing, and the crazy growth we all sign up for, how do we make the team successful, right? We need them to start believing in themselves. We have tools around us. We have the entire Agentforce technology story around how do we make them better, right? So we get the teams to start believing that the entire AI journey and the agent force life that they see in front of them are there to enable them to get better. So we take away a lot of the mundane. The right folks we have, how do we make sure that the skills that they come with, they shine on further? We take away the mundane. We take away anything repetitive. So we have a large sales dev team, for example, right? 100+ people calling people every day and asking for, finding leads and opportunities in the system. And how do we make them more productive? So we give them tools. The amount of agentic deployment that we have internally, it is to take away the mundane from them. Whatever they can do repetitively is taken away and done through the agentic layer. Whatever the whole lead concept that we have of how people look at leads and how we have to nurture leads, that whole concept is completely out of a seller's bag and it's done through an agentic layer. How do you ensure that progression happens? How do you ensure a seller who's sitting and writing notes in a meeting is automating his life or her life, right? So these are pieces that we constantly educate the team. It's not easy. It's not easy for all of us to go through this. I studied in school 30+ years ago, right? I had nothing to do with agent force, AI. It didn't exist. Computerization basically exists. I'm 52, so it didn't exist at that time, right? So how did we adapt? And we all constantly adapted to the new environment that we're in front of. And we learned, and that's exactly what we do today. So we have relentless learning opportunities for our teams to learn, to get better, use agent force every day to make life simple. Be it taking notes, be it putting out, getting intel on what is happening on the field. There's so much. You go into a customer meeting, by the time you go to the customer meeting, the people that you've known have changed, right? So we have teams who actually will just put this data together and give you, hey, you're going to meet this customer, this is what you can speak about, this is the view on the customer, this is what they lack, this is the infrastructure they have, go and have this conversation. So we put it together so easily that the brilliant people who our team hires are able to use this data, shorten their research cycle, and go out there and make themselves more productive. And that's how they become successful. So it's a journey. We have to constantly adapt, but it's a willingness to be open to change. Where we struggle is when somebody says, hey, is this going to take away my job? Is this going to come in my way? Is this something that, the insecurity factor, if we knock that off and say, hey, how am I going to change? And how am I going to learn today? How am I going to get better today? Things really make a difference. That's all the sales journey, guys. It's simple. It's hard. You learn rejection, but it's simple.
I love the fact that you started off giving us example of giving a lot of information so that you can ask us a lot of questions, which Sangeeta does on a very frequent basis. But I'm such a big fan of Slack bots and mundane tasks that you talk about, which used to take account planning, used to take so long. Now it's just available. You just put a prompt and within a few seconds it comes up. So thanks for sharing that. And I did notice that the underlying theme was people in your entire conversation, right? And Carol, you've been with Ujjivan for 25 years, right? And you've done a variety of role. I wanted to ask you, in this distinguished career that you have built in Ujjivan Finance, how has being a people-focused leader, how is it helping you change mindsets and adapt your people in various technological era? And of course, we are in the AI revolution. So how are you managing that balance?
Thank you. One of the things that I've always believed in is empowering people through change. And people need to have that support system around them. People need to have someone to back them up, that, yes, I have your back. And give them the options. Tell them why transformation is required. Why are we doing things the way that we have to in different phases of our journey? And when we tell them, when we communicate to them, when we are very transparent with them, people adapt a lot better. They understand the reasons, and there's a lot of willingness that comes in, and people adapt. It's easy to adapt. It's a journey, but I think when there's something new, I've seen that in my entire career that people get very focused on their routine activities. But when you show them that there is more, you can, by yourself, get a lot more value into the organization, and you are a change agent, I think it just opens up. Their learning journey opens up. They come to us for a lot of information. We are able to provide information, and in our bank, we also have a lot of emphasis on learning and development, and that is helping people actually, move across various roles in the organization and be adaptable.
I love the fact that you talked about the why when Sangeeta talked about the how, right? And Parul, I want to come to you. You're leading our engineering organizations. You've been here for a while, and there's no other place where you see the pace of change faster than in an engineering organization. So I want you to talk a little bit about culture, right? How do you inculcate a culture of rapid adaptation where you give an opportunity for your engineers to learn and fail as rapidly as pivot quickly as well? And how do you integrate new technologies that are coming into our world so fast?
I'm glad you asked that question, Aditi, because one of my values is be bold and try it. So I think it fits really well. Now, I'm sure all of you have already, heard the term psychological safety. It starts with the people, and when this kind of question comes up, everyone says, okay, give psychological safety to your teams, but the question is how? So I think it's all about expectation settings, being open to your teams and giving them the right vision and the goal. You have to really tell them that what things are not acceptable and what are acceptable. So if we have a commitment to our customer and my teams don't deliver that, but they are just okay, we'll sit back and innovate and bring a new thing, whereas the customer queries are not getting addressed, that is not acceptable. But if we are able to deliver to our customer requirements, but at the same time also take out some time and be very organized about it and look at the innovation, that's totally fine. And we can do those pilots, we can fail, maybe we had an hypothesis and that does not turn out well to the customers. When we take it to customers, they're like, oh, we believe you have built a car, whereas we were trying to actually build an aeroplane. Fine, we get the feedback, we take that feedback on, and there is no blame. So that is how I try to build psychological safety with the teams. Be very clear about the vision, take them along. If they see it as their goal, okay, we are together onto something and we want to achieve something, I think that innovation springs up all by itself. Now, as I said, in today's world, it is easier for us to innovate because of all the AI tools, and that I would encourage the teams to use a lot and use that in our day-to-day, either through the hackathons, showcase the work that they have done, talk to each other, and I would create forums where they can show their work which is happening. We would pick some of the work and we'll actually fund that work, so that the ideas or the different hackathons we are doing, they can actually see the light of the day and go to production. So that creates a healthy competition, and then others are also excited about, oh, I want to innovate, I want to be the part of next big wave, right? And I think Mark Benioff said it nicely, that every single person in Salesforce right now can be a change maker, and I think we all really adapt that.
We are Agent Blazer champions. Yes, most of us are. So really happy to hear the fact that psychological safety is even more important today in this time of changes and revolutions, technological revolutions that are going on. And Carol, we spoke about the people aspect. You spoke about explaining them the why and giving them the psychological safety to try and fail and then succeed eventually. But there are still some teams and people who will always be resistant to change, right? Especially when it involves newer technologies. So I wanted to ask you, what have you been doing? And you've been encouraging your teams to embed AI in their day-to-day work, in their flow of work, right? What's working for you in bringing about this, reducing the resistance to change?
So actually, that's a very good question. We are going through a phase of transformation in our bank. And one of the things that is coming up very strongly is resistance. The way we are breaking it is through a lot of communication. And communication as to why we want this change, how are we going to do this change, and what is in it for you in this change. So we are trying to make them stakeholders, give them the ownership, give them the empowerment, and also very clearly tell our teams that, there's a set of routine activities and there is thinking activities. So we have started small with robotic process automation activities. And it's been a challenge for us to also get people to give us projects that are eligible for robotic process automation. But once they see the value that comes out of it, they are willing to embrace it. So we started with one department, and now we have almost 10, 11 departments who have given us projects to go through this process of RPA. And we have seen a difference in the lives of the people who were doing routine activities, now getting into value-added activities. So there's a lot of time now for them to think creatively, and we are giving them these case studies. So whenever there is resistance coming in, we are showing them that this can be done through this way and see the result. And we are giving people to talk about their testimonies. So that helps in sort of breaking the resistance and enabling people to adapt to change.
I love the show and tell example that you talked about, that show them what is in it for them and then tell them, and then, hopefully they will, move in that direction.
Yes.
And Sangeeta, very similar question to what Carol said, but you're in such a different, you're handling such a different team, right, which is a sales team. And sales teams are always the ones who believe that their only job is to go sell. Right? And in this agentic era, there will be a lot of folks, and we've seen a lot of folks who were very resistant to adopting anything, right? Anything related to agentic. Can you tell us some approaches that you followed to encourage the sales teams to adopt this, or in general in your organization?
So we are in the work environment, the formal environment, and I do remember how my mom growing up, and I'm sure it'll be for many of your parents, you didn't do well in class, she said, Iska bacha kar raha hai, what is your problem, right? So-and-so's got their marks, you go to the same school, you listen to the same lecture, you go and come back and write, why can't you get the same marks, right? It is show and tell. It is show and tell. Like, this is what our parents did this well before the AI generation popped up. But it is not easy. It is not easy because we are in such a competitive environment. We are in such a fast-paced environment. You have 100 engineers fighting for that one seat, maybe 1,000 engineers fighting for those 2 seats, and then you have to learn how to be better than the person next to you. There's nothing short on hard work, right? And that is something that you need to come with whatever you decide and whatever you decide to do. Now, what do we do? What do we do? And one of my jobs is we are Salesforce. We have a lot of dashboards. You can slice and dice data in any number of ways. And we do this every single day. We have dashboards today. 3 days later, these dashboards don't sound relevant. We create some more. We create some more. I think I've been here 3 years. I've seen 100 plus different dashboards and different ways of looking at data. Now, what the data does, it gives us the intelligence of what is working well and what's not working well. It gives us data in such a good format, in whichever format we want. Now, data without interpretation is what is of no use to most of us, right? So one of the key things we do is take that data and show the folks, hey, this is what you're doing really well, and this is what you can do better. So we have a lot of dashboards which measure success matrices, which measure what is working well in a certain area. And we have the red, blue, green, red, amber, green everywhere, and that doesn't change from when you're growing up. The first traffic signal you see till the next few years, that's going to remain. That's there in all our dashboards. And the minute you look at a dashboard and you have anything red, you know you're going in for a deep review. Nobody wants a deep review. So everybody works very hard to come up with a green dashboard so that nobody is questioning anything. So before we get into that phase, we're constantly sharing with the team as to what their blind spots are. We do this now we're able to do this at an individual level. So a couple of years back, you look at the book of business of any organization, you'll say, hey, how is the organization doing? And then you look at overall an organization doing well. All organizations do well. The success of a team or a leader is not about doing well at a leadership level. It's about how do you keep peeling onions and everybody is doing well, right? Everybody has to rise with the tide. So one of the key things we do is constantly share views with the folks who have a gap, who have a blind spot in the business, who are not able to visualize where the business is, which gets thrown out through data. And this is something that we get very easily. So we do show and tell, and we do replicate successes. Like I know when your team had closed something in Asian Paints, we said, hey, go back to Berger. Same story. It's the same story in the same company, in the same country, in the same industry. What did we learn from one place which take back to the next? So we have the agentic workforce with us who actually replicates the whole thing in a little quick kit. We have an Intel team who uses all this data, puts it all in a quick kit saying, hey, this is the use case relevant to this industry. This is the story which worked. This is the problems that we solved. Go and have a conversation. So use and tell, and that happens every single day. And we do this and you can do this with the replication process, which is so fast right now in any industry for any seller in any part of the country, any part of the world for the matter, right? So we're able to pick up information from anywhere. And we said, okay, let's look at top 10 industries, and how can the top 10 of those industries be our customers? Replication, show and tell. What did you do best in the top, what did I do well in Bajaj? Why can't I do the same thing in a Hero? Why can't I do the same thing in a TVS, right? This is show and tell. So the element of success for this is, how do you enable the seller to open minds, learn, listen? They just have to listen. Listen to, this is the success story. This is what worked here, go back and speak about it, right? And this goes back to what we did in school. You go and listen to what somebody is teaching you and see how you can just extrapolate that in your day-to-day. So the folks need to trust themselves. We do hire the right people. They need to trust themselves that these tools are actually going to help them. So we show them the path. We let them fail. People fail all the time. We all fail all the time. All of us fail all the time. Let them fail and learn from it. And we show them, okay, you failed, fine. Let's go back and see what we missed out. And go back and share the same data with them, saying, hey, this is what happened. This is what went wrong. This is where we are behind you. We have your back. We trust you. Go back. And that's how, it's a constant circle. So it's learning to pass the baton through each other, learning to fill our success metrics. All our enablement, all our success stories come from our peers. We don't have to look for someone else. We don't have to look for somebody else doing something else. We don't need a mentor somewhere else. They would be around us. There would be somebody in the next person's team. It could be an AE who's giving these little bits of wisdom to a manager, saying, how did this AE hustle and figure something out? So the learning is through each other. So learning element is very, very important. And as Parul was saying, the day-long learning every single day is what can never stop, right? So we have all the beautiful tools which are only there as a platform if you're able to use them. And it's our job to go back and say, hey, it's there to strengthen us. The human element will always be in the center of it all, right? And then we use all these tools around us, which makes life so much more easier. So, long, short answer, I know what that was.
I love the fact that AI is not just for the big moments, but for the micro moments, right? Micro moments when reality actually happens is where AI steps in, and then you help your teams and support your teams during that process while providing psychological safety. Thanks, Sangeeta, for sharing that. It was a very interesting answer. And I know we are also passionate about all the agentic tools that we are using, so I can also go on and on. Parul, coming from engineering, you always have one eye on the present and one eye on the future, right? And it's so important for you to keep upskilling your teams because skills of people is what is going to determine our future success as well. So what are some of these strategies would you recommend to leaders to help them upskill their teams and constantly keep them relevant?
Yeah, I think this is a very funny story. So because all the AI tools are coming on our face and we all want to have like much more developer productivity and efficiency so that we can do more with less, right? So I ask all my org, hey, we have to start using the AI tools and we have to code more and more using the AI tools. And we all have to be part of this change, and then all the lecture about the vision and why this is important and everything. So now people try it maybe for a week, not everybody, few people try it and they come back and say, it doesn't work. So I'm like, what does it mean it doesn't work? So I would have written this function in less than 1 hour, but now I keep giving the prompt and things and still the tools are not giving me the good answers, and so I have to ultimately write it on my own. I wasted 1 day on what it would have taken me 1 hour. So I was like, okay, this sounds interesting, and let us see how many people actually tried. So we looked at that data, and we looked at, okay, what they really did. So I think they were right? Initially, because the tools were not so mature, it was actually taking them a lot more time, and boom, right? Like developers said, okay, we are not going to adopt all these tools. We are good in our old ways. When this technology matures, we'll come there. But I think as leaders, we know, we have to live in the future and we have to take everybody along. So I think to answer your question, how do we upskill? I use three main things, right? One is find champions. You cannot do it alone. In that whole org that I have, there will be few people who are very enthused about the new technology, who will use it and who can find these use cases that would really be very powerful. So one example is when I found the champions, they said, hey, like writing test cases is very grungy. I want my AI tools to write all the test cases. And boom, when they shared that, everybody was like, oh yeah, I want to use AI tools to write test cases. So they at least started using the AI tools. There was a lot of resistance initially, but then like everybody actually started on that journey, right? So finding champions is very important. Second thing is give recognition. So when you see a story coming out and people using it, how can you recognize them in a broader forum? So that way, again, like everybody is more encouraged, okay, I want to use it. I want my story to be shared here in the forum. And going by your analogy, Sangeeta, show and tell. So I think give that forum to the people to show and tell. So that really helped us. So it started with test cases, but then people started trying different things. And they said, okay, you know, like, the documents could be written this way. I will convert the PRDs into engineering designs. I will take help of these tools to maybe write some modules. And slowly that infectious energy spread. And that's how like it became like a team moment. And then we started like showcasing that work to the larger teams, larger clouds, and everybody rallied behind that, right? So number 2 is how can you recognize that? And then number 3, I would say, is like create that competitiveness and create different forums. It could be hackathons, it could be like, you know, these show and tell forums and so on. So that way everybody can present their work. So I think these 3 things have definitely helped us. And now like all the way from Cursor to Windsurf to Cloud Code, we are using all kinds of AI tools, not just for coding, but even in our all day-to-day work. So you wouldn't believe, like, you know, when this summit was being planned and I was invited as a panelist, I said, okay, what could be the potential questions? Let me go to my AI assistant and ask, like, you know, how can I structure my thoughts? Otherwise, maybe I'm the only one speaking for the whole panel and not giving time to others, right?
I did that too. How do I shorten these questions? But I just realized I'm just asking very long questions. We have very little time. Carol, I want to come to you before I open it to all 3 of you with my last favorite question. So we talked about resistance, succeeding. How do you measure success beyond metrics for an agent, pilot, or a project?
I think it is attrition. You know, I measure it through that.
That's so cool.
So if people are not interested, then they leave.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's amazing. So we have 3 minutes left. I want to ask one question to all 3 of you. And this is to look at the human element. We talked so much about people, right? What's the single most important thing as a leader you can do to foster a sense of collective growth and ensure that the entire team feels that they are part of this journey and not feel excluded?
I think it's a lot to do with communicating what we are doing and making our people feel that they are stakeholders in the growth story. And growth comes through various ways. And in this day and age, when technology is one of the foremost things that is taken for granted, people should be able to adapt to that, and people should be shown the way. But I think a lot more is to do with they themselves being curious. But for that, we need to also make them stakeholders in the growth story and make them realize that when they have success in their roles, the organization also sees success.
And one fun way you use AI in personal day-to-day life?
So I use AI to streamline a lot of my work activities, workflows.
To-do lists.
Yes, to-do lists.
Excellent. Sangeeta, what's your take, the human element aspect of it?
So I do believe in an organization, in a team, in a family, every single person has a role. And that role is really important, that each single person does their role well. So there's so much magic, right? It's just like, you know, you say a star is born, right? A star is born because somebody has made an effort for themselves, on themselves, to shine bright. And the sky is the limit. We have unlimited number of stars. There's no reason why each person should not be a star. There's no reason why each person should not turn up every day doing their best. There are ups and downs in life, but there's no reason each of us does not turn up and do our best. If we all cumulatively do our best individually, we create magic, right? And there's sparkle, and that's how you have a sky full of stars. And there's no reason none of us can do this, right? It's about turning up every day and doing our best.
for anybody, for any star, there's always 100 things that don't work. But everyone picks those few things that work really well and do them really well. So I think that is a very important piece in my belief, that everybody stands up and shines for themselves, and you don't need anybody else to do this for you, right? And that's really, really important in my view.
Thank you, Sangeeta. And I'm very hesitant to ask you this question, where do you use AI in your personal life? Because I only see you at work, but still, I'm sure, whatever little time you have, where do you use AI?
So I'm very technologically challenged. I grew up in an era which had no AI or computers for the thing, right? But I do use ChatGPT to shorten my answers, because you can see how long I take to answer things. We have some really good tools. Every morning we wake up and they're like 100+ Slack messages, so you quickly go through summarizing. And I took a week off, I had 700 direct messages, 700. I said, what's wrong with people? Why are you all writing so many messages? So I had to use AI to summarize. It took me a long time to say, oh, let me use iRobot to clean up my house. It took me a lot of guts to get into one of those cars in Singapore which had no drivers, and I was saying, what is wrong with me? Why did I even do this? So lots of bits of technology which comes up every day, and I think it's all about experimenting, and these things work. They work.
I was waiting for personal example to come. I'm glad you brought the driverless cars. Parul, final closing remarks from you as well, and where do you use AI at work? Personally.
Yeah, I would say I think addressing fears for my team is where the human and the AI part comes together, because they are worried about, will my job go away? And addressing that, give all your mundane tasks to your AI tools because they are your assistants and you can do much more creative things. I think that's what helps. Where I use AI in personal life, I'm thinking of renovating my home. So I think there, the latest Gemini models and all of those are super helpful.
Engineering leader, right? I use AI to measure my workout strength and stamina. It's a very hyper-competitive app. I think I may give up for some days. I want to chill. But thank you so much, Carol, Sangeeta, and Parul for sharing your inputs. I think we can all agree that the success in this agentic era cannot be done by leaving anyone behind. We have to take everyone along. And our panelists shared such amazing, wonderful stories of upskilling, of showing them a picture of success, and also doing a lot of show and tell and the why. So thank you so much. I hope you take some inspiration back from it.
Thank you, and thank you for listening to us so patiently.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, Aditi.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was so powerful and real. Can we have a huge round of applause one more time for our incredible panelists, Aditi, Carol, Sangeeta, and Parul. That was an amazing session. I think we're all ready to start our own AI upskilling journeys very soon. We'll now take a 15-minute break, and I'll see you all back here very, very soon. The next session will begin in 5 minutes. Please make your way back to your seats.
Calling all trailblazers, innovators, customer success makers, lifelong learners, and roll up your sleevers. Those who see what we see. That in a sea of technology, a distinctly new wave of innovation is rising. We are Salesforce, the #1 AI CRM. And like you, we're not only looking to the future, we're busy building it. Not just the future of business or AI, but her future and his and theirs and thousands of other purpose-driven high performers who have found their place to grow like never before, to connect, collaborate, and celebrate, to move forward as one while giving back as many. And now, as we blaze our trail into an AI-first future that's as trusted as it is transformative, where anyone can be an Einstein, we're bringing together the trailblazers who can help us get there, who demand a place built on values, who know that business is the greatest platform for change. Those of you ready to help build what's next and to drive customer success, come forward. Trailblazers, what we do next matters. Because what we do next will change the world.
I'd been with Salesforce for 12 years now. It has given me wonderful opportunities to be myself. If I could describe Salesforce in one word, it would be home.
It's absolutely buzzing because there are so many new things that people are experiencing, so many new ideas that they are coming across.
First thing that you'll notice is an atmosphere where everybody is driven by innovation.
People really thrive in our high-performing culture, especially engineers. Our engineers deal with the whole tech stack, so you get to sort of develop your expertise in all parts of software, which I think is wonderful for engineers.
It's so exciting to be part of this AI revolution because any new thing that comes, Salesforce is already there doing it.
Salesforce is at the forefront of revolutionizing the way our customers interact with their customers by building in a lot of artificial intelligence.
It's helping our customers reach new heights.
One thing I love about Salesforce, hugely passionate about customer success. We make sure that whatever features or functionality we build is solving genuine customer problems.
Just as we are creating new things, we are also thinking about how we can serve the community.
One of the core values that Salesforce has is equality. When I see there is so much focus to make the workplace very inclusive, that gives me immense pride.
Salesforce lives by its own values, and one is being extremely empathetic to not only the customers but to the employees as well.
They always say families are always first. That is very important.
We give some of the best benefits in the industry.
The benefit that I loved was parental leave. I loved how Salesforce gave me that freedom to be able to satisfy that part of my life.
One of the reasons why I think people should be excited about coming on board with us is because we are a growing company. As the company grows, your career, your dreams, your potentials will also get realized.
The next session is about to begin. Request you all to please take your seats. be starting the next session in 2 minutes. Request you all to please take your seats. Welcome back, everyone. I hope all of you are refueled, recharged, and the caffeine has done its job now. I would like now to welcome on stage our Salesforce moderator for the keynote session coming up, Sugi Venkatesh, SVP of Employee Success. Can we hear it up? I'm sure we can do a little bit more. Joining him, we have an incredible trailblazer. Let's welcome her with another huge round of applause. Rochelle Pinto, Head of Editorial Content, Vogue India. Please keep the applause going.
Good afternoon. Can you guys hear me? Check. Good afternoon. It's been an incredible first half, hasn't it? Hasn't it?
Such good students you have.
Yeah.
Responding in unison.
We had some really good panel conversations. I heard Sangeeta gave some really good sound bites. So many stars in the sky. We have so many stars in the room. And we have another big star with us here today. And I know you guys have been waiting for this conversation for a while. And we have the figurehead of fashion journalism of India with us today. So please join me in giving a big round of applause to the head of editorial content for Vogue India, Rochelle Pinto.
Thank you very much.
So, by the way, I'm Sugi Venkatesh. I am Senior Vice President, Head of HR for Salesforce India. The theme of the Trailblazing Women is Agent of Change. And we are really at a very interesting inflection point. Lots changing, changes happening to us, at us. We are having to change with the change. So change is the word of the So if you get the message, change is the word of the day. We're going to talk a lot about the heavy topics of AI and change, but I want to start a little bit on a lighter note with you. You've had an amazing, amazing career, and you picked the line of journalism. You're shining bright. You continue to shine bright. But
literally today.
Literally today. We are also matching. We talked about it. If you hadn't picked this career line, what would you have been?
You know, I'd love to have done something with animal welfare, but I feel like when I was younger, that wasn't even a career. So now I sit and watch Instagram reels of people who are bus drivers, and the people on the bus are actually the dogs because they're taking them to a doggy daycare center, and I'm like, it's so sad to see someone else live my dream life. It definitely something in animal welfare, and something that involves being closer to nature, because I feel like as we live in these worlds that are increasingly made of glass and chrome, and we're so digital and we're losing connections with each other, I think every time I escape to a place that's green, including Bangalore, honestly, when I was like landing on the plane, I was looking out and it was so green, and you can feel it instantly make your heart rate decrease and your mind starts to clear up, and all the messages waiting in your Slack channels just like fade into oblivion. So it's definitely something in that zone.
That'd be amazing. Yeah, it does. The green does calm you down here till you meet the Bangalore traffic. And it kind of brings it all the way back up.
That definitely happened. I was like, we're not yet there. He's like, 10 minutes, 10 minutes.
You were actually a radio jockey as a child. And
highly irresponsible of AIR to allow that to happen. Can't be blamed.
What was your journey from being a radio jockey to where you are now? Talk us about that.
Honestly, I think my parents just wanted to stop having to answer my questions when I was younger. So they wanted just to send me to do things that would keep me occupied. And I like to talk. I like to meet people. My mom used to tell me, you are too big for your boots, which is, I think maybe some of you have heard that line. Because I always had big ideas, and I always thought that I had the right to discuss them. Not necessarily everybody agreed with that, but luckily I was encouraged to sort of express myself in more formal ways. So I started at AIR at the age of 11. They have like a child RJ program where they unleash you in a booth, and you just do all sorts of stupid things like write one-man plays where you're introducing yourself and then you're doing the play, and then it's like it's very silly, but it meant a lot because I think it really gave me the confidence to think that if you put in the hard work and you focus and you really are diligent about it, that there is some outcome to that effort. So it went from that to interning. I used to intern every summer. Like my dad was very clear that you're not just going to loaf. You know, back in the day, I used to use that term, loafing around. He was not okay with that. He was like, sure, you can hang out with your friends, but you also have to acquire some skills. And I think it came from the fact that he himself lost his dad when he was very young and had to sort of start working at a young age. And he wanted me to just have enough skills that were, you know, things to go awry, I would be able to find my way. And I think that really helped. In fact, I was never allowed to go clubbing. I don't even know if they have clubs anymore. I'm told Gen Z doesn't club anymore, so I don't know if that's a thing. But I was never allowed to go clubbing, but I used to work in an event organization which was involved in the launch of said clubs. So my friends would be partying and I would be part of the organizing committee. It was highly unfair at the time. But I earned money from a very young age. Of course, my parents, like good South Indian parents, did not let me spend it. They put it away in a bank. But at the age of 19, I was able to pay for my first international vacation with money that I had earned from the age of 11, which not a lot of people can say, I think. So, oh, thank you. I have never received applause for that, so I'm going to remember this moment. So, you know, it's that work ethic that you learn from a young age, and then because you are always put in situations where you don't actually know how to do what they're asking you to do, you just kind of figure it out. And that has been the fundamental of my career, where someone's like, do you want to do this? I'm like, okay. And then I walk away and I'm like, oh God, now how do I do this? Let me figure it out. So I think that's been helpful, and that was something I picked up at a young age.
Yeah, that's amazing. I want to double click a little bit on your career, like your current role right now. You are the third person to take over the reins as the head of editorial content for Vogue India, and you've kind of continued to elevate that. That is like the leading lifestyle and fashion magazine in India. But you also took it over at a time where there's a lot changing. Like, you know, AI is going to come in, and we won't really go into that at this point. But when you took it over, the change was almost there, but not there. But what was your vision? Like, what is the legacy? Or what did you, when you took that role, you said, like, what is the mark that I want to make?
I think Vogue had become, it was beginning to be considered a very closed off space that only cared about a very small community, either celebrities or those who lived in South Delhi and South Bombay. And it didn't feel relevant to many people's lives because they didn't see their interests or their community reflected in Vogue. And because I have the benefit of being an outsider, my parents don't come from fashion. I wasn't born into a family that experienced luxury at a very young age. I worked my way into this space. I've always understood how to bridge the gap, I think, between those to whom luxury comes easily and those to whom luxury is aspirational. And I also think that our understanding of luxury has changed dramatically. Like, luxury doesn't anymore mean buying an Hermes Birkin. Luxury sometimes is the ability to switch off and go on a holiday. Or luxury is the ability to have your health, because so many of us are working ourselves to the bone, and you know, we all, and I can see, and I'm glad to see so many women in the audience, women historically put themselves and their health last. Luxury can be saying no to a situation or a job because you don't have to do it. And as the understanding of luxury changes, I think that it's important for a magazine like Vogue to be able to reflect those changes in luxury. And it needed an outside perspective. So my vision was to bridge that gap. My vision is also to ensure that when we call ourselves Vogue India, that we're truly representative of India, and it's not just the same people being talked about again and again. So in the same book, we call the magazine a book, just to make ourselves feel better, I think. So in the same book, you'll find an article about a village in Sikkim that is the farthest village in that area, and you'll find an article about you know, a celebrity on the cover who lives in New York, perhaps, with her daughter, and you'll see the, you know, the weavers from central India. Like, it needs to surprise you. Like, my formula for creating anything is that it has to satisfy two high needs. One is the need for validation. So when you read it, you say, ah, I knew I was right, you know? See, they've talked about this, I had already read it, or I knew about this, so I'm cool, right? And the other is the need to be surprised. So I keep telling the team, it's a 50-50 formula. Like 50% has to validate your taste, and 50% has to expand your taste. And if you can achieve that balance, you have a loyal audience.
Yeah. That's amazing. And it also has attracted a lot of international, readers, Vogue India.
I hope so.
It has. I've heard that it has, because it also, what you are doing under your leadership is you're still preserving the Indian cultural side as a part of luxury and fashion and kind of creating the right balance, which I think is beautiful.
Thank you. I think that we're living in a time where luckily, due to various serendipitous forces coming together, Indians really having an India proud moment.
Yep.
And I travel a fair bit in this country. In fact, I was in Chettinad a few days ago, and now today I'm in Bangalore for a hot second. And everywhere I go, unlike maybe even 6 years ago, pre-pandemic, let's talk about that, like use that as, divide. People are not only proud of being Indian, but they're proud of where they come from specifically, in the sense that somebody from Chettinad is very proud of being from Chettinad, and they want to speak in their local language, and they want to wear their local handloom, and they want to show off their local jewelry. And then that's true for Bangalore as well. I was in Bangalore a few months ago for an editor's high tea, and we had a lot of women from the city show up, and they came in their heirloom jewelry, and it was stunning to see the pieces that they pulled out, and with such pride they were talking about what they were wearing. And nobody was dropping Parisian or Italian names. Everybody was talking about this handcrafted piece that had been handed down to them from their great-grandmother. And this is very new, because before it used to be that, you talk about being Indian, but it's much better to have an international education, or to have worked for a few years in San Fran, or to return with a airport accent.
Yep.
But now you don't see that happening anymore. Like, people are very comfortable in their own skin, and they want to know more about their culture. They want to connect with the past. I do think it has something to do with this ephemeral world that we live in, where everything feels like an illusion. You don't know what's real and what's Maya, where we were sitting.
Yeah.
And so then you revert to what feels real, and what feels real is history and culture and craft and things that are tangible,
Yeah.
And I'm seeing that everywhere, whether it's food or fashion or jewelry or even literature. Some of the best stories that we do are not what Alia Bhatt wore to the Met Gala. Like, some of the best stories that we do are about a pen hospital in Kolkata, or like a small shop somewhere else, or somebody, the last lady doing this in some part of the world. Indians are finally giving themselves, I think, the permission to be proud of their culture and the nuances that make us so unique in this world. And of course, the rest of the world is not only catching up, but copying also now.
Yeah. I love that for so many reasons. And, it kind of connects back to the redefinition of luxury. And you're talking to a guy who lived abroad for 20 plus years.
You're one of those. Now
and
you come
I came back here because...
Yeah, we know.
I'm not following the script at all, by the way. I'm just going straight to... but you do have a full audience of all women. It's amazing energy that I can see here. And they're all
That's why it's such a well-behaved room. Everyone's quiet and paying attention.
I'm the only bad-behaved boy over here. But they're all in their, early to mid-careers. And the change that we're going through right now, it is going to be like, we don't even know the extent of what it's going to be. Like I said, it's going to happen to us. It's happening right now. We don't even know. And it also is demanding us and all of them to change with it and evolve with it. And some of that is to kind of just make sure that we are relevant. Some of it is to make sure that we are thought leaders in this as well, right? What is your guidance to them? How should they be thinking about, making themselves relevant or thought leaders through this change?
I think a lot of people respond to change with fear and trepidation, as do I. I mean, any sane person would, right? Because that whole bell of AI is going to take away our careers, AI is going to be our overlord. It feels real because you've watched enough science fiction and you're obviously paying attention to what's happening in the world. But I feel that whenever there is great change in the world, it is even more important to invest in the basics and to revert to your fundamentals and make sure that your fundamentals are really strong. Because to be very honest, humans have not evolved that dramatically in the last 200, 300 odd years where we are so different than our forefathers. Maybe now we talk to each other on, my grandmother who's 95 years old, she was born in a Goa that did not have electricity. And now she talks to her great-grandson who lives in Australia on a phone screen. I mean, she screams at the phone screen because she's deaf, but she's essentially able to communicate. But the core of this is connection. And humans need connection. And more as we see the world becoming easily accessible, you also see parallelly depression rates rising and loneliness rising because people feel the lack of connection and connectivity to each other. So I would say that the people who have the greatest advantage in a time where technology is making life so convenient that you can literally sit in your house and not have to interact with any other human being for weeks on end because everything will get delivered to your doorstep or done remotely. The people who will have the greatest advantage are the people who understand human behavior and how to tap into that. So whether that's your soft skills, learning how to communicate, learning how to engage, learning how to have a point of view, and more importantly, being unafraid to share it in a room, those are the people who stand out. I think people who try to compete with machines will lose. But you have to understand why you are different from a machine or a computer program and really delve into those skills. I highly doubt you would have had a conversation with an AI agent. Is that what you guys call it?
Yep.
Like, that would not be so very interesting. I also think one thing to be a bit mindful of is that a lot of AI it's formulated to make you, make your life convenient and make you the center of your own universe. And what I see often is that people start to forget that humans are not as pliable, right? They're not going to agree with everything that you say, and they're not going to say, okay, your needs first, and I will learn to adapt. So one of the things I would encourage you to do is put yourself in a position where you have to actually be pushed out of your comfort zone, and you have to learn to work with many different people, and you have to learn to collaborate and learn how to not always have your way, because I see that as becoming something of a trend. Like, if people don't immediately get what they want, they just sort of walk away. They just drop everything. It's a toxic environment, It's just, I'm being traumatized. This is triggering me.
I love that. I mean, it's so refreshing to hear you say it, because I think everybody, all of the articles and podcasts, they talk about all of these AI skills that we need to learn and to catch up. But I think this is a full circle, because we became so dependent on technology.
Exactly, that's what they want, right?
Now it's pushing us back to become human again. Things like adaptability, collaboration, critical thinking. I feel like that's a lost art, and I think this is going to bring it back to us.
I hope so, because I feel like I said, if we compete with machines, we lose, because we are too complex and we're so inherently paradoxical as sentient beings. Like, at any given point, we have multiple things within us constantly at odds with each other. So if we are trying to go in that direction, it's so easy to be replaced. But you want to be the person in the room who's bringing value, who's adding value. And I think it's the soft skills that will do that.
I love that. You've always talked about pouring into other people's cups. You use that reference a lot of times.
Thank you.
And that's to provide guidance and growth, and as you support other people's development. I'm sure there's a lot of people who poured into your cup
100%,
as you grew up. Tell us, what are some of the lessons and learnings that you got from your mentors and role models that really is working for you till date?
So many, but I think I'll just try and figure out a few critical ones to share with the group today. One of the things that I learned from a very young age is that it's incredibly important to try. It's not important to know, right? Everybody tells you that, And I think that young people today, because so much of what we do is captured for posterity constantly, because we film everything, we share everything, we document everything. There is so much fear with young people that if I make a mistake, it will be held against me for the rest of my life. And I'm very grateful to have been raised, at least my teenage and early 20s, when in a time when we were allowed to make many mistakes and they were not captured for posterity. So I completely understand that now the fear is in many ways valid, because you can tweet something, or I don't know, what do you say? What's the verb of X? You can X something? I know, he changed the word and then nobody knows how to say tweet. We still say tweet, okay. I mean, you can post something dumb and, 20 years later it'll be held against you. Or now the poor students in the US are finding out that like stuff they said as 10-year-olds is causing them to not get college admission. So, I mean, when I got this job, to be fair, I went through my entire social media and I was like, oh my God, hide all of this. Like, what was I thinking? Because my first time at Vogue, I had started a handle called Condé Nasty, and I would just post all the dumb things that people would say. And then I was like, oh, must delete all of this. What was the question? Say, I get lost all the time.
No, like, what is the lessons that you learned?
Oh, the
I
lesson,
think you're
yes.
saying all of it.
So I think first is not being afraid to try, because genuinely, no one expects you to get it right the first time. And I think the hardest person to convince is yourself, especially if you're a young person. That was one thing. How to work as a team and always be grateful and give give props to people who've helped you. I think that earnestness and gratitude, at some point it became uncool to be earnest, to be excited, to show gratitude. It was like, oh, I just did it all myself, or like, that became cool. And I find that patently uncool, because that's selfish, and and you're denying the fact that so many people had to walk so that you could run, right? And so many people had to give you an opportunity when you're not naturally entitled to anything. So these two lessons, and I think then just being able to laugh, I feel, and not take yourself too seriously. That lesson I think I learned from, that's more like a lesson I learned from my family, and you have to have a very close group of friends. One of the things that I tell my team, and I tell a lot of young people that I interact with, is that you have to also know whose advice to take seriously and when to take it seriously. I think that's critical. And the example I give is a little controversial, but I say that, my parents, their opinion on who I am as a person is very important to me, because they raised me, and I believe that I inherited my moral structure from them. But whether they think my cover was a good cover or bad cover is not relevant to me, because they're not from this world. Fashion is not their space. So it's not just about knowing whose opinions is important, it's also knowing which opinion is important. And I think that we are very thin-skinned in general. We've become even more thin-skinned, where somebody leaves a nasty comment on our social media and we have a mental breakdown. And you have to be able to take back that remote control and not allow everyone to push your buttons. So maybe these three lessons.
That's a tough one, though. Like, knowing which opinion to take, when to take it. Like, what got you to master that?
Age.
Well, clearly I'm not doing something right.
There's no other way to learn. You just you do it so many times. And the thing is that when you're a journalist, you really put yourself out there so much, right? Because everything that you do is public. It could be an article, it could be a video, it could be whatever. And so after a period of time, you realize that, cowering under your bedsheet and sobbing because some random guy in wherever said, I don't like, some guy once mentioned, it's really funny, this person wrote to me on Instagram, I don't know him, so he's clearly found this image of these shoes and said, shoes are very ugly. It's like, I didn't know how to react, and of course, I didn't react to him. I just took a screenshot of that and posted it on my Instagram and said, be whoever you want, just don't be this guy.
Yeah.
It's like, how much time do you have, dude? Like, you're going to go to some random girl's profile and comment on her shoes.
Yeah.
And then he was like, I'm so sorry, and whatever. So you have to also, I don't know if I'd be able to react that casually if I was much younger. Maybe it would have hurt me. Maybe I would have felt, oh, you know, am I fit for this job? Oh, this uncle has said my shoes are ugly. Should I? And now I'm like, who asked? I don't care.
Nobody asked.
So it's age, honestly. Like if you're very young and you still get hurt, just know that in 10 years you will not care. So.
I love it. For the record, I complimented her shoes as soon as I came in.
You are not that uncle.
Be this guy.
I can.
I'm not the uncle. I'm not the uncle. I want to have so many of these conversations, but I have to touch on AI.
Oh, right.
Especially because
be
I know it's like a coffee chat. But you're overseeing a very large portfolio of content for beauty, for weddings, for commerce, and I think there is going to be, AI is going to have an impact on the media. It already is. And how do you think of the impact it's going to have on the editorial content?
I mean, I hope it makes us quicker.
Okay.
I hope it helps us fact check faster. I hope it does not lead us to be dishonest, though I see that happening now, because I do get a lot of resumes and a lot of ideas where all the ideas are the same because everyone has asked ChatGPT what should they pitch to Vogue. And they also somehow seem to think that I don't have ChatGPT because I clearly don't know this formula. I think that it's inevitable that AI will take over certain processes that currently require human labor. But what I do hope is that it will allow for us to then use our intellect and our intuition to enhance the work that we do and write better stories and do better shoots and spend more time with our audience and understand them better so that we're able to fulfill those needs rather than spend time, you know, like editing something 10 times. Though personally, I'm a perfectionist, so maybe from 10 it'll go to 8, but not much less. But I hope that it does not rob us of our ability to think and be creative and be intuitive in that way that really, you know, they do say that AI is intuitive, but all that intuition is learned, right? Which of course with human beings it is. But AI is not having new experiences in real life yet. So I think that I'm trying to stay optimistic.
Yeah.
I do hope that next year it won't be 2 robots having this conversation. Or whatever, maybe not even robots. But I think that it will give us an opportunity to be more creative, where right now we are bogged down with a lot of admin work and a lot of Excel sheets, and I personally feel victimized by Excel. So maybe someone else can then look at Excel while I think of story ideas.
That'll be a great day. That'll be a great day. So we are kind of coming to the end of time. Which is such a bummer.
You guys are really strict. This is like
such a bummer.
Angry clock here.
It is really staring at my face.
God.
But if you could create like a magic agent for yourself, for personal tasks, what would you create?
Reading Excel sheets. Cleaning my cat's litter. No, I still have to do that, right?
That I think, I don't know if that agent...
My cat is really like, he's vindictive. If I travel, when I come back, he knows the day I'm coming back and there will be some little surprise waiting for me just to bring me back to earth. Oh, you went to Bangalore and you were on stage. Come clean my litter. Let me teach you what life is really about. Look, I have a very chaotic mind and I'm very bad with putting in processes that work for a large group of people. So I surround myself with very organized people because I am a chaos princess. I have one idea, then something shiny distracts me, then I go after the next idea. I don't like to complete it, you know. Completing things is for other people. So maybe if we have, you said a magic agent? Maybe a magic agent would make me more organized and help me complete a task and help my team not have to constantly sort of like chase me. And you know, it's like, imagine somebody just hopping through a field and they're throwing flowers over their head and someone's running behind them trying to catch the flowers. It's not as chaotic as that. I'm exaggerating naturally, but yeah, that would be someone who helps me be more organized and reads Excel sheets and does budgeting.
Love it. By the way, that I think they are kind of working that into the next Devil Wears Prada #2, right? It's true. I mean,
it would be a very realistic and...
it is true. I think Devil Wears Prada 2, because you are like not personality-wise, but from a job title perspective, you're the Miranda Priestley of India.
How do you know not personality-wise?
I don't know yet. You already called me uncle once.
I said you're not.
You're not an
that
uncle. Okay, you're not that uncle. But what advice would you give to Miranda Priestley?
Eat something.
Eat something.
I feel like she's hungry a lot.
She's hungry a lot.
It's that hangry energy, you know. But no, Miranda's, honestly, I learned a lot from that character because I do think that what the character does espouse as a philosophy is excellence, and that's something I believe in. I just think we can obviously achieve it in a kinder, more empathetic fashion. And she hates freesias, and I hate pink carnations.
Oh.
And if I see pink carnations,
There's
I
none
get
here,
very
thank God.
agitated.
There's one right behind you, but it's artificial, though.
I don't know, there's just something about it that bothers me, but that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Thank you so much for
Thank
a
you.
wonderful conversation.
We didn't talk about AI at all.
No. Sorry, guys. Rochelle Pinto, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Sugi and Rochelle, for that candid and engaging conversation. We're all leaving with a lot to learn, a lot of insights. And one more time, let's hear it for our keynote speaker, Rochelle. Now, we are headed to our last but not the least, a remarkable panel discussion. Please put your hands together for our panelists. We have Mankiran Chauhan, Managing Director and SVP, India Sales and Distribution, Salesforce. Smita Tribhuwal, Chief Insurance Officer, Generally Central Insurance, and our very own Salesforce moderator, Sonali Kalyankar, RVP, India Sales and Distribution of Salesforce. A round of applause, a huge round of applause for all of them. Handing it over to Sonali.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. How is it so far? That's nice. And after Rochelle and after what I heard, it was like amazing, right? Magic agent. Perfect. Thank you so much, everyone. My name is Sonali Kalyanikar. I lead the financial services vertical for Salesforce in India. And joining me, Smita and Mankiran. We're going to talk about how they have navigated their personal and career journeys in this dynamic world of AI. So let me start, and I'll let you choose who's going to go first here. But as leaders, you all are at the forefront of the AI revolution. In your role, what's that one specific way AI has fundamentally changed the way you and your team operate? So,
yeah, customers first. So, so I belong to the general insurance side of the industry, and I guess during the time when I joined, and I guess most of us, the senior guys who are here, a lot of work of ours was mundane, very repetitive, and the skills which we procured. I was a chartered financial analyst that I'm not an actuary, and I never used those skills. I've studied so hard, and I used to wonder when I'm going to use those skills. I used to just open the file, take the data, and pump it in, and never really got to use what I really wanted to use, my brains at the end of the day. But if you see today, suppose we employ a doctor who settles my health claims. Earlier, the doctor used to intimate the claim, enter, look into the bills, enter all the details, then, analyze the data manually, and obviously make mistakes. And now it's like boop, everything is there. You just see the data, all the analysis is done. The doctor now only needs to use the skills to actually read that, analyze, and settle the claim. So I guess that's a huge change. It brings in productivity, it brings in efficiency, and it gives career paths to people.
Perfect. Mankaran?
I was gonna, say that she's from Generali, but I'm a very proud generalist. So, I go, as a business leader, I've had the pleasure of always being a generalist, going to, as an example, the best part of my job is to meet with, as an example, an insurance customer in the morning, and then go to an automotive customer in the afternoon, and then go meet a life sciences customer. And the generalist, in me needs to still have enough depth to have the conversation. But where I'm currently using AI as an example is in the meeting prep, like how the context of the customer when I was a rep, I would spend a lot of time reading the annual report and, figuring out how to analyze it. And now actually I've got a really cool prompt, already written, and it takes me like 2 minutes to just, say I'm meeting Smita at Generali, and what is the context, what should I know? It gives me all of that in seconds, right? So the speed at what I'm able to get the right information to really get the depth that I need to be able to switch context is such a superpower. So, all thanks to AI.
Awesome. Mankaran, coming to you, AI is also forcing us to think differently about our roles, right? So zooming into that idea and in the lens of your personal journey, you've described entry into technology sales as accidental. And we all know our career paths have never been very linear. We've always had those unexpected or planned moves. Could you tell us a little bit, could you share about your trajectory, the career growth, please?
The joke used to be I used to like talking, so my professors used to say you should go into sales, was the joke. But then, MBA happened, and that was what was, just accidentally started with sales. It was more an experiment. But, speaking about trajectory, I think I think your question is really about what shaped that trajectory. I was very fortunate to, to become a people manager very early in my career. And actually, it was at a point where I didn't believe I deserved to be I became a people manager at 27, right? So it was very early, and I wasn't applying for it. I wasn't looking for that job, and someone tapped in to say, hey, what do you think of this job? And I was like, is that a joke? And in my head, I wasn't ready. It wasn't the right time. I was too young. There were just so many of those things in your own head. And so many more examples. And that was the time my husband was, moving abroad to study. It was, how will we make this work? There's so many objections in my head. But I think the fact that I did that at a point, and it was only because other people around me believed in me more than I believed myself. I'm so glad I did that first step, because if I hadn't at that point, my trajectory would have looked completely different. So, that's what I mean by this accidental sales and accidental manager, and, all the lines join looking backwards, thankfully. So,
perfect. Smita, as an actuary and now a chief insurance officer, your work has always been rooted in data, risk analysis, complex calculations. How has the rise in AI really changed the way you approach the work today? And especially this traditional insurance policies, like the way the data is managed, how the complex calculations are done. What are the new skills that you are focusing on and to lead your team in this new data-driven AI world?
So, I'll take the first bit that, insurance principles will remain always the same. Whatever change happens, it was the same 100 years back, and I'm very sure the insurance principle will stay the same going ahead. But yes, what has changed is the way we get the data. It's no more structured, It's so unstructured. The challenge now and the challenge to my team is that how to use that unstructured data into something meaningful which can help us. Sometimes, we have some data, like suppose you cross a toll gate. The car is going, and the toll gate actually captures a picture of the car. So, I wonder sometimes sitting and say, how can I use this data, So I'm just saying that with the new change and the new AI influx, it's who comes with the idea first, who makes the first mover, who takes the first mover advantage to use that tollgate data to actually pick up the pictures and identify frauds in my claims. Sounds very simple, but when you come onto the table and start doing it, it's not that simple. So I guess with the new age AI, we in the insurance industry, I guess, has benefited tremendously by settling claims. Earlier, if you would say, I'm settling a claim in a day, today we are auto-adjudicating claims. It's like not even hours, we're talking about minutes. So it's what was a wow factor earlier is now a given factor. So yes, the influx of data and how to use that data, using the right kind of tools, and to learn how to use that is the biggest challenge. I guess just to add on to that bit, I feel people need to unlearn also. Unlearn something like an Excel, come out of Excel. So I tell my team, you cannot summarize the data also Excel. You need to just get your hands dirty with R or Python, whichever tool you choose. But start to, unlearn Excel, and I would recommend all the youngsters start to learn new tools. I guess that's my take to my team members and to anybody around here.
Perfect. We're going to shift gears a little bit and talk about personal leadership, and I'll come to you, Mankiran. You've stated in the past that authenticity is one characteristic every leader should possess. And how can a leader cultivate their authenticity while also navigating the strategic demands of a senior executive role?
I always wonder on that question of authenticity, because for me, authenticity is about being who you are. Like, that seems like a really simple thing to do. Like, if you're not yourself, who are you going to be? So I've, always struggled with that question to say, that seems like who you anyways you. All you have to do is show up as you, right? I think one of the best compliments one of my bosses gave me was like, you're the same person in the morning, you're the same person after drinks, you're the same person at, you're the same person. And I didn't know the word authenticity back then, but now, of course, in the context of what we're talking, but I think, so show up as who you are, but also embrace the whole of you, right? I think so many of us show up in the parts, and I think that's where it breaks, is that we are trying to project a particular part, like we're trying to be professional, or we're trying to be just a mom, or we're trying to be just a wife, or we're trying to do a part of us. And I think if you embrace the fact that you're a holistic person, I always introduce myself as a sum of many parts. I'm a mom of 2 boys. I'm going to miss my son's PTM tomorrow. So the fact that there's a holistic part of who you are is, I think, the most authentic way to lead. And the fact that, we are in a position to own those aspects. Men and women are along, if you can say, I'm not going to be able to do this, because don't say I'm not available, but I do have a parent-teacher meeting at 9. Can I reschedule this meeting at 9:45? That's, in my head, is just given permission to the next person to do the same thing for their next conversation, right? So I think just owning the whole self is the start, and I genuinely think it's the easiest thing to do, is go be yourself.
Perfect. Actually, I will just add on to your earlier story of being in sales, and you call it accidental. It's a little similar story for me as well. I come from a very traditional Gujarati background, and a little personal story for all of you. I was the first girl who was allowed to work, okay? So everybody, I was conditioned that you have to grow up, get married, and be a good wife, mother, so on and so forth. I had to request my dad, can I please work for 3 months? Okay, let me live that life, and then I'll do whatever you want me to do. And he said, okay. He really doted on me, and he saw me in those 3 months, what I did. Of course, I got into sales directly, and he saw the connections that I made in those 3 months with the commissioner of Mumbai, police, and all that. And he was the first one to take that decision in Rathod family, that's my maiden name. Okay, I'm going to allow you to do what you want. And there was never looking back. So I was just remembering my story when Mankiran narrated hers, and that was me. Smita, coming to you, you've built a career on foundation of rigorous academic and professional expertise. In an era where AI is forcing us to constantly learn newer technologies, newer ways of doing things, what is the most valuable lesson that your investment in higher education taught you about preparing for the future? How did that prepare you for strategic challenges that you face today in your current role as a chief insurance officer?
So, just you shared your story, I'll share mine. Why did I pick up my higher studies, I was at the age of 40. That time you can't think of studying. I had a 10-year-old boy, And I'm blessed with a very good mentors all my life, I guess. And I guess my mentors told me that if you want to qualify, you need to do it now, or else you're redundant, you know. You become an actuary at the age of 50, it's better you stop it now. So I guess, my mentor pushed me and encouraged me to just go and study. And he told me, you're standing at the end of a cliff, and you take the leap now, or it's now or never. So God's grace, my family's support, I took the leap of faith. I put my son in a boarding school and just flew off for 1.5 years. And I studied with, youngsters as half my age, 20. My team members before going, they told me, ma'am, don't tell them that you have a 10-year-old son. You are small, you look small, you look young. Just say I'm not married. Have some affairs, So it was fun, and it sounds very nice, it sounds very fancy, but trust me, it's a uphill task. Sitting in that flight, going all the way abroad, leaving your family behind, and 1.5 years, you just have to study. Staking your career was not an easy thing. But I guess that leap of faith helped me. And when I came back, because of that education, I started exploring more. I did data warehousing, I did claims, I did underwriting. I just dirtied my hand in anything available. I came out of that cliche of just actuarial department. And I guess that culmination of that variety of work actually helped me get the position I'm in today, and it helps me every day. So yeah, I guess continuous investment in your self-learning is very, very important.
Thank you, Smita. You did start about mentorship, and I think this question is for both of you. What would you say for aspiring leaders in this audience? What role has mentorship played in your professional growth? What is your advice for finding and building a strong mentor-mentee relationship?
So, I have a different take on this. People say you should have one mentor. I feel you should have two different mentors, especially we women, we should have one, a professional mentor, and you should have a personal mentor also, because when you have professional mentors, one, you can't sometimes choose your bosses, guys, but you can choose your mentors. So choose your mentor wisely in your professional life. And the professional mentor does not know what is going in your personal life. How you've been brought up, what are the challenges you've faced, or, what are the struggles you've seen to become what you are. So, sometimes it's very incomplete. And to be honest, I've had 3 boys in my life, my father, my husband, and my son. All 3 have been my mentors. It depends, sometimes, some women come and say, I have a little boy at home, ma'am, I can't do it. I said, make your child your strength. When I flew down, some 10 years back, my son told me, Mom, please go. When you come back, I want to be a proud son and says I'm the son of an actuary. Oh. So I guess mentors are there, guys. You just need to identify them. And it's the key to success.
I love that thought process to say, I think we put so many labels on people to say this is a mentor and this is not, or this is where, what a mentor looks like. And I agree, actually, for me professionally, having different people do mentorship for different things. I'm a big believer of figuring out what you need. You own your own career and you own your development. And then maybe I need this from Sonali and this from Smita and this from someone else and this from someone else. And curating a mentorship buffet for yourself is also totally okay. Or you could just go to, you could have this really strong mentor in your life, and that's totally okay as well, right? But if I had to give a piece of advice, I would say is be the best mentee you can be. I was saying this to Sonali and Jess, saying, I am an amazing mentee. When I get a mentor, I will prepare, I will show up with an agenda, I will, make sure that I'm going with intent. I know, I'm being authentic, I'm sharing my personal story. I know, like a lot of times, because, now when I get a mentorship request, I know when someone's being authentic about wanting that advice, or is doing it because they want to impress me, or they want to do this because it's a nice tick mark to do, or, maybe a nice bouquet to collect, etc., right? So be the best mentee you can be, right? Like, how can you show up as a mentee with intent and want and, clarity in what you want? Because time is not infinite for anyone. So my advice is that, and I still, like when I'm spending time with Arundhati ma'am, I get the opportunity to spend it all the time. I'm still looking at, okay, I'm going to prepare. These are my notes. This is what I want to talk to her about. So I'm respectful about her time, and then she knows I've put in the effort before I've showed up for that conversation. So be a great mentee.
Perfect. During multiple panels, I think there has been a lot of discussion around importance of upskilling and employee adoption of AI. But let's turn the lens inward for a moment. As an executive, the expectation is to have all the answers. How do you embrace the mindset of continuous learning? And what do you do personally to grow in the face of so much technological change?
So, I'm a student forever. I say that to my team, and I live by it, and I love. Actually, if I don't learn something, there's a empty space in my life. So as we speak, I'm actually learning an instrument, and I plan to learn a new language. So it's not only learning about AI. On the tech part, yes, I'm enhancing my skills. Whenever somebody says, I use this to use a ChatGPT, I don't hesitate in asking, how did you do it, and come back and try it and, test it. Small things like OneNote. I didn't know it existed as a free tool within our, Microsoft package. It's such an amazing organizer. To be honest, I'm actually learning how to use it efficiently. So just learning, something like an R or a Python or a technical language. No, if your job requires it, learn it. But if it does not, then only just understand, what is the difference between an AI or an agentic AI. I guess it was your Salesforce teams only, whom I asked, So I don't hesitate in asking. I'm not feared by what others will think about me or, how others will judge me. I'm a fearless learner. I guess that's what we need to be.
I love that. Fearless learner.
Yes.
I love that. And Sonali, if I could add to that, I would say that my personal motto is you have to find a way to learn something every day, like one small thing, right? As an example, I have two boys, like I said, they talk on a dinner table conversation. I don't understand half the conversation because they'll be talking about the gaming that they're doing between a Fortnite and a Roblox. So 2 weekends ago, actually, my son said, Mama, do you want to play? And my instant reaction was, I don't know how to play Roblox. But he actually taught me how to play Roblox. And apparently, I'm playing this cool game called 99 Days or Nights, I'm forgetting, which is one of the most, promising, like it's supposed to be, my kids tell me that's the game of the future. I've now played Grow Garden. I've played a game called Steal the Ice Cream. You just steal an ice cream and you run away. Apparently, it's really cool in Roblox. I have no idea why it's cool. I can't understand it. But it was a very intentional part to say, when he said it, honestly, my instant reaction was, come on, what am I going to do? How am I going to play Roblox? But for me, that was a huge victory to say, and for him, it's so cool that his mom plays Roblox, right? He's at the age where he thinks it's cool. Maybe in the future, he'll not think it's cool. But for me, that's the mindset to say, how do you take the opportunity at every day, everything, there's always opportunity. You guys are investing in the time today to hear something. One message will land, hopefully. Right? That's maybe the learning for today, and something else tomorrow, and something else day after. But for me, that's the mindset of learning. Yeah, fearless learner and maybe an everyday learner. So, maybe that.
Maybe I go back to my son and learn a video game.
Yeah, maybe.
Awesome. After we spoke so much about continuous learning and personal growth, technology and skills are required for constant change, right? Some core principles of leadership remain constant and perhaps even more important than before. In this era of AI, one leadership principle you believe has become even more critical, and why? How do you apply the principle to empower your team, not just adapt it, but to really thrive with AI?
So, I have a slightly different uptake, and there's something known as a brainstorming, and I guess it's a very underrated kind of a tool. So brainstorming in today's AI world is super, super productive, and along with it is tagged as a power of failure. I guess failure teaches you so much. You need to empower your teams to just think out of the box, things futuristic, and the word impossible says, I am possible. So if something is impossible today, 5 years down the line, it will become possible. So how can we just think futuristic be ready for it, if not going live with it. So there are a lot of use cases or test cases, which we know will happen, but the ROI is not here today. But can I not get up my systems to be prepared for it? Can I not start thinking of when I want to go live? I require this kind of an acumen. So I guess brainstorming and letting your teams fail. If they try 10 use cases, 2 use cases will be successful. But as a leader, we need to be standing behind the back to let them do what they want to do. So I don't know whether you call that as a leadership skill, but I guess that's the my mantra.
I think that says it really well. I will take a slight twist to that question, Sonali. I think, for me, one of my leadership beliefs is that is very centered around legacy. Who do you want to be remembered as, right? Like, if you're not here, if something happens, whatever. What do you want people to say when you're not around, right? For me, I mean, that's how I think, right? And therefore, my dad is a huge inspiration for me personally. And one of the things he taught me very early in my leadership career is remember the people that you're going to meet on your way up are the same people you're going to meet on your way down, right? So, remember to be at that, remember to be, you will get what you give in that journey, right? And I think with the world of AI, this, like you were speaking about failures or how we're so quick to judge people for what they know or what they don't know. Oh, you don't know this, or you haven't done prompt. So I think, I'm just being very mindful that we're working in this generational time where there are people from different generations, where our technology is moving at a pace it's impossible almost to keep up with. Be kind, right? Be kind and, create the space for the growth and the learning and the failure and everything that goes with it. Because, I'm sure at some point you'll expect that kindness back as well, so.
Sure. We're almost top of the hour. As we wrap up, let's get a little creative and leave our audience with a single thought. Complete this sentence for us. The future of leadership in AI era is about transforming dash into dash.
For me, I guess it's unstructured data into insights.
And for me, it's, I think, possibilities into purpose.
Perfect. And thank you. I think we had some amazing chat. I loved whatever I heard today. And after this impactful statements that we are hearing, our journey of leadership is much about looking forward as it is about learning from the past. Send a 10-second video to your younger self, just starting off your career. The message should be about leadership and success in the future that's driven by AI. What would you say to yourself? Just 10 seconds.
Yeah. So for me, it's like, don't be a super specialist. And if you are a super specialist, be ready to be adaptive, or else you'll be redundant when you move ahead the curve.
I actually have 8 seconds on it, so I can almost time it. But I'm going to, if I had to say it to myself, I'd probably say, when you're green, you grow, and when you're ripe, you rot. So remain green, constantly learn.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Mankaran and Smita. It was a great chat, and I'm sure our audience also loved it. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sonali, Smita, and Mankiran. Thank you for getting your authentic self into the conversation. Now, to close out this inspiring day, I would request Mankiran to share some closing thoughts.
It's great to, not to have to get off and come back in. One trip saved, one fall saved. But thank you so much. I hope you've had, a good day and a few hours well spent. It's been our pleasure. This is my favorite event of the year. I don't miss it. This is the fourth consecutive time. So it's my favorite event of the year. I hope you find it useful as well. And thank you so much. So I thank you for all our leaders who've taken time today to come and share their stories and inspirational messages. Hopefully, you're all walking away from this feeling like you're the agent of change and anything is possible. I am possible, fearless learning. And you're walking away, for us, if you walk away with one nugget that you think is worth your time, I think it'll be a good victory for us. But thank you so much for joining us today. But before you leave the room, I do have and we're going to officially transition into the reception, and we have a fun surprise for you. Thanks to Rochelle and Vogue India. 5 lucky winners in this room are going to get to take away the special Vogue anniversary edition together with the latest wedding book. So if you could take a look under your seat, if there is a ticket, that's your gift. But thank you again. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much, Mankiran. Did you all look under your seats already? Oh, great. Again, thank you so much for being an incredible audience. Before you start tucking down and looking under your seats, can you give one round of applause for all of you as an audience? It's been just amazing to have you and host you here. As the fun continues, we have a reception that is out in the foyer. Enjoy the refreshments, a fun volunteering activity, and an Agentforce demo. Don't go too far, please. We will invite you back here very shortly for more treats and a special dance performance by Shravya Masa Dance Company. Enjoy you all.